These past 15 weeks, I have spent the semester interning at Stonehill Franciscan Services in their activities department. Stonehill Franciscan Services is a faith-based, nonprofit, quality retirement and care community serving older adults in and around Dubuque, Iowa. The history of Stonehill can be traced all the way back to 1878 when the Franciscan sisters were invited to open an orphanage in Dubuque that served both orphans and the elderly. In 1978, the new state-of-the-art 250-bed Stonehill Care Center was opened. In 1999, a CC Village was constructed, adding independent living to the campus. Following, in 2009, skilled nursing and therapy began. In 2013, there was a major expansion which was completed, adding 4 households, including a memory care center, as well as world-class therapy and wellness centers. While interning in the activities department at Stonehill, I spent about half of my time doing direct programming with residents, and then the other half was more behind-the-scenes programming for future programs. So my first about 7 weeks, I did nail care for residents, one-on-one visits, card bingo, and then I organized a storage closet. So every week I came in and I did those same programs. So I worked mostly on the first floor because they're actually short of an employee, and I did those different programs for them. This was a really good time for me because I got to meet a lot of residents and experience those one-on-one visits, like I said earlier, which really added to my experience a lot. But then it was also good for me to be able to take a look back and do some more behind-the-scenes programming because mostly I'm used to doing more direct work with people. So it's nice to be able to look behind the scenes because that's a really big, important part of social work too, doing a lot of documentation and those kinds of things. So as I was doing more behind-the-scenes programming, I worked on doing monthly PowerPoints. So I kind of did theme PowerPoints. So in December, I did a PowerPoint about Christmas, and then if it was like a national month for something, I created a PowerPoint for that. So that way the activity coordinators can go to that certain folder that I created. And so if they're looking for an event for June next month, they can go to June and say, oh, there's 2 PowerPoints and we can do that activity which is already created for them. So although I'm not seeing my work being used right away, I know that it's going to be used in the future. One of my favorite events that I got to create was Resident Council Bingo. We got a review from the residents that they wanted to be able to play bingo more often. So my boss asked if I would be able to incorporate this into their schedule in some way. So I came up with Resident Council Bingo, which would be given each month to residents who come to Resident Council Bingo. So it's also a way for them to encourage them to come to Resident Council Bingo. So every month they come to Resident Council Bingo and they get their bingo card for the month. Then every day they refer back to the activities chalkboard and there will be a different bingo number listed every day. If residents have that bingo number, then they can cross it off their bingo card. So this is a way to keep residents engaged every day, and they look forward to going to the chalkboard and looking at the new number that is posted for that day. If residents win, then they bring their card to the next resident council meeting and they get their new card for the next month. A lot of the activities that I was assigned to revolved around music. My supervisor shared with me the effect that music can have on those with memory loss, which made me really interested in the topic, so I researched it more. And the research found that those with memory loss can have a really positive effect on music because of the way that it affects their mood, their memory, and the way that they can begin to move by listening to music. I was able to see this firsthand through the group music activity that I was assigned to. So every Wednesday night we had a musician from the community come in and play live music. I could see from the time that I came to get the residents, and most of the time I would ask if they'd want to come to the program, and I usually got responses like, no, I'm tired. But then by the end, when I was bringing them back after the music program, they were really happy and energized and talking and smiling, which was so much different than when I saw them picking them up, when I picked them up and they were laying in their beds. So this was something really cool to just see their moods change and even get them up and moving as compared to just laying in their bed. Engagement is an ongoing component of social work practice. At Stonehill, I found myself using this competency often. In activities, we do our best to keep all residents engaged, whether that is doing one-on-one visits, bringing them to group activities, or bringing them to mass. We do our best to interact with the resident and their families to be sure they are getting the most out of their experience. As people age, they often become depressed. Keeping them engaged helps them to become happier overall. Social workers value the importance of human relationships. I carefully evaluated the personal human behavior and environment to be sure we were providing the necessary activities for them. Within these past 15 weeks, I've learned a lot during my time at my internship. I applied the skills that I've learned in my social work classes into my internship. One of the biggest things I took away was meeting the client with where they're at. Especially working with older adults, this is really important. I think that their moods can switch on a dime, so looking at their environment and really making sure you meet the client with where they're at is really important. I also learned the importance of building rapport with clients, and in this case, my residents. I did a lot of one-on-one visits, and I could notice the people that I built rapport with really early on. I established a very good relationship with them, and now I have a much better relationship with those residents than I did with the ones that I didn't build rapport with as quickly in the beginning. Another thing that I took away was that I wasn't sure which kind of population I'd like to work with. I worked a lot with kids throughout my years, and now I wanted to see kind of what it was like to work with older adults. And I took away that I really, really enjoy working with older adults. Overall, I had a great experience at my internship. I enjoyed being able to put the skills that I'm learning in the classroom into work at such a great organization.